qualified to be the next justice, and her confirmation is legitimate. Those sentiments are shared by Republicans in our community, like Clayton Campbell.
It is the Senate's duty, and it's their right under the Constitution to decide whether to have a vote. So in this situation, we have a president and a Senate controlled by the same party. There's absolutely no historical precedent. There's no rule against this. So all of that talk by the Democrats about how this is breaking precedent or shattering traditions, that's all nonsense.
Meanwhile, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, up until the very end, stated that the confirmation was happening too close to a presidential election, and Judge Barrett's confirmation is threatening mainstream views for generations. Questions remain on if packing the court could be a possibility, something which President Democratic woman of Kern says it's a route Democrats could take.
For so many years, Democrats, we go high, and we continue to go high. But at some point, we are standing up for the American people and all the rights of the American people, of women, LGBTQ, voters, workers, the common person. And that may require packing the court.
With her confirmation, now Justice Barrett tilts the U.S. Supreme Court to a 6-3 conservative majority. But the process on how it happened wasn't a surprise for some, while others have issues with the outcome.
Because they're cowards, and they went back on their word. It is a sad day, I think, for the entirety of the United States. Not only is it a violation of the process.
I am not particularly surprised by the outcome. I was confident that there would be enough votes to confirm Judge Barrett, now Justice Barrett. I think she's very qualified, and I didn't think there were going to be any snags there.
And if you'd like to rewatch the full confirmation hearing, be sure to go to our website, turn23.com, and our Facebook page. For now, in Bakersfield, Leslie Gooden, 23 ABC News, connecting you.
Leslie, thanks. With just 8 days left until the 2020 presidential election, here's a look at where you can go cast your ballot across the county. This is a list of all of the polling places that we have here in Kern County. We have 150 this year. That's more than we had in March. Kern is actually one of the only counties to add polling places amid the pandemic. The general election is just 8 days away, and if you're voting in person, the Elections Department has a plan in place to make sure voters are safe from COVID-19. The Kern County Elections Office told 23 ABC that during in-person voting, they will take precautions like wiping down voting booth tables and pins in between every voter while encouraging social distancing. The polling sites will also be offering hand sanitizer and face masks to those voting at the polls. For those who don't want to wear a mask, curbside voting will be available, or a separate area will be dedicated to voters without masks. The Elections Office will now be open until 7 p.m. this week. They are encouraging voters to make an appointment, but will also accept walk-ins. More and more people across the nation are electing to vote early. New numbers show that upward of 58.6 million people have already voted. At this time in 2016, 58 million people had cast their ballots. Democrats tend to make up the majority of those who vote early, but this year more and more Republicans are following suit. Now to an update on the wildfires burning in Southern California today, forcing thousands of evacuations. We want to show you a live look of the Blue Ridge fire tonight, initially called the Green Fire. It has burned more than 3,000 acres and at least one home in Yorba Linda. You can see just how close the flames have been getting to other places in that area. Now, workers are also working to save Richard Nixon's birthplace as fires burn around the house that is now the Nixon Library. Strong winds have helped it, and other fires in the region spread quickly. This fire is 0% contained. And the Silverado fire in Southern California has burned more than 7,000 acres while critically injuring 2 firefighters. The fire is in the Santiago Canyon area near Irvine. The University of California at Irvine has suspended all of its on-campus operations. Firefighters are doing what they can, but strong winds are making things dangerous.
Yeah, at approximately 12:15 today, I got a report of 2 OCFA hand crew firefighters. These are the firefighters like hotshot crews that swing tools and are used at the most critical part of the fires. They were critically injured on the Silverado fire. One of them, a 26-year-old, and one of them, a 31-year-old. One has 65% burns, both second and third degree. The second has 50%, both second and third degree burns. Both are intubated at this time.
It was reported today a little before 7 a.m. and just 2 hours later, 20,000 homes were evacuated. No word yet on how the fire started. It is also 0% contained. And let's turn now and bring in 23 ABC's Alex Bell in for meteorologist Brandon Michaels as we take a look at our weather forecast. Of course, we are dealing with some cooler temperatures, but some heat is on the way.
Yes, definitely. We're going to see those warming temperatures, but for now, that low pressure system remains in control. But like Jessica said, you can see that high pressure system hanging off the coast there. That's going to move in a little bit later this week. But for now, at least and through Tuesday, we're going to see those cooler temperatures. So you can already see right now things cooling down this evening. Bakersfield at 55 degrees, the Grapevine at 51, and then over in our desert areas, Ridgecrest at 51 this evening. But we are definitely going to be dropping. Take a look at our overnight lows. Some areas definitely well below freezing for those overnight lows. Take a look at Fraser Park, 28 degrees. Kernville, 34, and Tehachapi also at 34. So it is going to be a very cold evening tonight. But taking a look right now at those windy conditions. Now we've had some cooler weather. We've had that low humidity, but we've had dangerously dry conditions. Impacts from that being the blowing dust and debris, especially if you were on the Grapevine, you probably saw a lot of that dust flying around. So coming up in just a second, we'll take a deeper dive into that fire alert that is in effect due to this low pressure system that moved into our area.
The Bakersfield Museum of Art will be open to the public tomorrow. The museum will return to their pre-pandemic hours, and they'll be open Tuesday to Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. with extended hours on the first Friday of every month. Visitors will be asked to socially distance when inside the museum. Physical markers and signs will be placed throughout, as well as hand sanitizing stations. Visitors will also be asked to wear a mask at all times. Get a first look at the museum tomorrow morning on 23 ABC, first at 4:30 before it opens to the public. The Kern High School District will be welcoming students back on campus Wednesday. In phase 1, students with individualized education plans who have moderate to severe disabilities will return to campus and satellite sites. Student athletes are also able to begin after-school conditioning after clearing their athletic packet with their coaches. The next phase will start November 9th. The city of Tehachapi will be partnering with Houchin Community Blood Bank for a community-wide blood drive happening tomorrow. Houchin Blood Bank's buses will be parked in the parking lot of the Tehachapi Valley Recreation and Parks Department West Park. That's located at 490 West D Street. Donors also have the opportunity to receive free COVID-19 testing from their blood donation. It's happening from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. To reserve a slot, you can head to our website, turnto23.com. The sheriff's office has still not located the man who managed to escape from the back of a patrol car after being handcuffed last week. Sheriff officials say Charles Wilson was arrested for vehicle theft, possession of a stolen vehicle, and burglary just after 8:30 last Monday night. While the deputy was completing the investigation, Wilson was able to break free from the back of the patrol car and take off on foot. KCSO has still not located Wilson. If you have any information on his whereabouts, you are asked to call KCSO 861-3110. Bakersfield police cracking down on gang violence in the city. Over the weekend, BPD arrested multiple people during the 3-day period. At least 10 people were arrested and at least 8 handguns recovered, as well as drugs. For the full breakdown of who was arrested each day and where, you can head to our website, turnto23.com. The Kern County coroner has identified the man who was shot at Seasons Park on Thursday as 21-year-old Joel Perez. Officers responded to Seasons Park on Harris Road near Stein Road for a possible shooting. When they arrived, they found Perez with gunshot wounds. He was taken to the hospital where he later died. No suspect information has been released. The investigation is ongoing. After months of work, the new Navigation Center looking to help the homeless community opened its doors today. The center is located on East Brundage Lane. It's right down the street from Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard in East Bakersfield. The center can house up to 150 people at a given time. People who stay there will get a bed, food, and other resources to help get them back on their feet. The new center even has a dog park on site. The Navigation Center hopes to get residents off of the streets and into permanent housing within 90 days. For the past 40 years, the annual Christmas parade has taken place in downtown Bakersfield. But now, because of COVID-19 concerns, committee members tell 23 ABC the event will look a little different this year. 23 ABC's Kylie Walker joins us live in downtown Bakersfield, where the parade is normally held. Kylie?
Yeah, Jess, usually every Christmas over 20,000 people flood this area, and as you can see, empty streets behind me, and that's exactly what it's going to look like this year for the annual parade. But that doesn't mean that it's canceled. It just means that this year they're going digital.
You have to be good up until Christmas because Santa is always watching. Ho, ho, ho!
While Santa will still be able to make it down your chimney, he won't be attending Bakersfield's annual Christmas parade for the first time in nearly 4 decades. The reason why shouldn't surprise you.
Unfortunately, the COVID pandemic is wreaking havoc, but we desperately did not want to just cancel the parade.
Greg Kronk, the president of the annual parade, says in order to keep the Christmas spirit alive, they decided to hold the event virtually.
The general theme is the movies of Christmas, and that's an acknowledgement to the Bakersfield Fox Theater in celebration of their December this year 90th anniversary.
But in order to save Christmas, Kronk says they'll need the community's help.
We're looking for the creativity of the public.
Kronk is asking individuals, groups, or business owners to send in videos that pertain to this year's theme. He says this can even be filmed on your iPhones.
We're looking for this to be an opportunity, for maybe, dance groups, for example, who couldn't participate in the past, but maybe have a routine that they would like to present.
And in order to apply, you need to go to their website and scroll down to the Eventbrite link, copy and paste it into your browser, click register, select the appropriate entry, and check out. All videos are due by the November 2nd deadline.
We are asking that those videos be complete, again, as I said, so they can be evaluated.
And the 2020 parade will be broadcasted for the public on December 2nd from 6 to 8 on Channel 23 with a regular 2-hour runtime, and all proceeds raised will go towards the future parades, expenses they've incurred throughout the year, and storage for the float.
What we do is for the kids. I've lived in Bakersfield all my life. I remember going to Christmas parade.
And remember, if you are going to film video yourself, you'll want to flip your phone horizontally. You'll just have a few more days to get those submissions in. And if you would like to register, we will have that link on our website, turnto23.com. But for now in Bakersfield, I'm Kylie Walker, 23ABC, connecting you.
Still to come, the United States reaching yet another grim milestone in the nation's fight against COVID-19. What this milestone is when we return on 23 ABC News at 11. Welcome back. The United States hit its highest 7-day average of COVID-19 cases since the pandemic began. Coronavirus cases are continuing to surge across the U.S., with at least 37 states seeing a rise in hospitalizations. Today, the U.S. surpassed 225,000 deaths as the 7-day average for new cases hit its highest level on record. Doctors worry things could get worse over the next 2 or 3 weeks as flu season approaches. Meanwhile, the Trump administration says it's ramping up the distribution of rapid coronavirus tests across the U.S. More than 37 million tests are expected by the end of the week. The Health and Human Services Department says the goal is to protect vulnerable populations and help the nation reopen. These tests are part of the nearly 150 million Binax Now tests the federal government has scheduled for deployment. Tests will provide a result in about 15 minutes. A top Trump administration official wanted to give Santa performers a COVID-19 vaccine ahead of the general public. That's according to the Wall Street Journal. Elves and Mrs. Claus would have also been included, but the Department of Health and Human Services said Friday the plan is off the table. In exchange for the early vaccinations, Michael Caputo, an HHS Assistant Secretary, wanted Santas to drum up awareness for coronavirus vaccination events around the nation. Democratic leaders in the House of Representatives last month criticized the campaign, questioning its timing just before a national election. If you need to get your child up to date on their vaccines, now is your chance. Adventist Health Bakersfield will be offering the free childhood immunizations against vaccine preventable diseases. These will be held throughout the month of November at different locations. The first will be Monday, November 2nd at the Food Max on Ming Avenue from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. The clinics are free to children under 18 who don't have health insurance, enrolled in Medi-Cal, or are an American Indian or Native Alaskan. Children over the age of 5 require an appointment. For a list of all locations and times, be sure to visit our website, turnto23.com. Gusty winds today in Southern California caused 4 big rigs to flip over, including Amazon and UPS trucks. 50 gallons of leaked diesel fuel had to be cleaned up on Interstate 10 near the Coachella Valley. No injuries were reported, and the winds also knocked down branches, traffic signs, and a parking structure. A parked car inside the structure was damaged. Authorities are worried the winds could elevate fire danger by drying out the air. Southern California Edison says the Coachella Valley is not under consideration for a public safety shutoff, but the company is continuing to monitor the situation. All right, wow. All right, let's turn now and bring in 23 ABC's Alex Bell in for meteorologist Brandon Michaels as we talk about our forecast here locally. We're definitely feeling some of those winds here for sure.
Yes, definitely. And that's why we have that fire weather warning that is in place because of that low humidity, those dry conditions, and of course, as Jessica just mentioned, those blowing winds that we continue to see. So this has been issued by the National Weather Service. This fire weather warning is that pink area on your screen right there. Again, this is not going to expire until Tuesday at 5 p.m. Of course, if this does get extended, we'll make sure to update you. But taking a look tomorrow at your county highs, valley floor pretty much remaining in those 70s for tomorrow. Bakersfield, Lamont, and Arvin all seeing a high of 74 to start off Tuesday. And then taking a look at our mountain area, 70 in Kernville and Lake Isabella for a high tomorrow, 61 in Bear Valley Springs and Fraser Park and Pine Mountain Club, all seeing a high of 61 for tomorrow. And then a quick check of our desert area, 72 in Ridgecrest, 70 in California City and Rosamond, 69 in Edwards and Lancaster, seeing a high of 71. Quick check of our air quality. Now, last week we were in that moderate range, that low pressure coming in and bringing us that nice cool air, but we have that high pressure sitting off the coast, as I mentioned earlier. So our impacts of our air quality are definitely going to be seen this week. So we're bumping up just a little bit for tomorrow, 107 for our AQI, remaining in the unhealthy for sensitive groups range. But let's get to our 7-day forecast, because thankfully we are still going to be in those 70s, and we'll see them this weekend too. So 74 for tomorrow, still seeing those breezy conditions, and then Thursday